Hello and welcome. I am Larry Hawley with Getting Personal. It's a podcast here on Ankin Law that we're having to allow our clients, those in Chicago, those who are just interested in law, or those who are just interested in talking about random things, a chance to get to know us. The law firm here in Chicago, we've been around since 1997, March 31st to be exact of that year. Created by Howard Ankin. He is still here. He is still the face of our law firm. But so many people make it go. One of those is one of the newer attorneys at our firm. This is Kayla Coates. Kayla works in our workers' compensation department. Kayla, welcome to the first episode of Getting Personal.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And glad to have you on here. And the main reason is Kayla and I started the exact same day.
We did.
What were you feeling when you came in for the first time to take your first lawyer job?
Oh, excitement, nervousness, probably excitement overall.
And I don't blame you. I had been switching careers for 21 years, so I was very, very, very nervous that day. We'll come back a little bit to your career, but first of all, I want to kind of get to, we all and out there want to get to know you a little bit. You are not from Chicago. Where are you from?
I'm not. I am from Memphis, Tennessee. Born and raised, everything there. I went to college in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and then I went to law school at Mississippi College School of Law in Jackson, Mississippi.
What kind of got you into law? What was it that made you want to do it?
Well, I started off college pre-med.
Pre-med?
Yeah.
So,
I soon learned that sciences weren't my thing, but I'd always enjoyed the law. I'd always enjoyed, different seminars and everything I had taken throughout college, and I quickly changed my major after one pre-med semester or one pre-med year to criminal justice. Was able to learn about, inequality, helping those that, were not born with privileges, for example, that I had, getting into dark spots and then having people help them out. And so that's where I started. And, that brought me to law school, which I was able to do several, pro bono things, so veterans, immigrants, things like that. And so, always helping people, less fortunate, those who can't help themselves. And that led me here to work comp.
so was it hard to let go of the maybe Dr. Kayla dream for you, or?
Not so much.
Not so much?
No, I quickly turned and was just like, yep, this is it. This is what I'm going to do.
And it was just maybe the helping aspect that made you feel so comfortable?
Yeah. I mean, it's doctors help, lawyers help.
We know you love law.
Yeah.
How did you get from Mississippi in college up here to Chicago? What made you look in Chicago and look at Ankin Law?
Okay, so initially, one, I've always wanted to live in a big city. Memphis is, medium, small city. I've always wanted to live in a big city, bustling. I've always wanted to, travel up north. But at the time, when I moved here about a year and a half ago, my sister was here. She had been up here a couple years. She's a few years younger than me. She really loved it. And we also had a couple friends up here. There's always good things to say about Chicago, especially during the summer. Maybe not so much right now.
Yeah, when we're taping this, I believe it's about 19 degrees. And that's actually a warm-up because it was about...
Because yesterday it was 1. Before
One.
that it was in the negatives, which
One.
I'm not used to.
Yeah, and especially if you're coming from Memphis, you're probably not used to that at all.
Nope. So, I just kind of sprang for it. I just decided last minute to take the Illinois bar instead of the Mississippi or Tennessee bar, and I just went for it, and then, came up here, stayed with my sister for a while, started looking for jobs, and here I am.
Well, we'll get to the law in a second, but just the big city, how have you liked that? Because you talked about wanting the hustle and the bustle, and you had a little bit of an idea of your sister. Yeah. What's it been like now that you've had the chance to live here for, as we're taping this, about a year?
It's been really fun. It's been really fun. A big culture shock. Like down south, you drive everywhere. In Memphis, for example, doesn't have like the CTA, anything like that. So I moved up here, sold my car. I live in Lincoln Park, so it's not too far away, still city. Take the bus every day. Learn public transit. Nothing I've ever had to do before. I have driven a couple times. The roads are a lot skinnier up here.
They are. You'll learn that.
There's no parking lots. Yeah.
A lot more traffic too.
A lot more traffic. A lot of one ways. So I'm better on the bus now.
You talked about a little bit about driving, but what is it about Chicago that maybe caught you off guard? Something you just weren't expecting?
Ooh, everyone's really nice. I will say that. Everyone's really nice. There's a lot to do here, a lot of outdoor stuff to do, which is interesting because, I went to college in Chattanooga, which is very outdoorsy. Mm-hmm. But here, I wouldn't say it's necessarily outdoorsy, but there's so much stuff to do. I mean, like the beach, Lake Michigan on North Avenue. Love that. So you have a little bit of everything. And then you have the big city, and then you have, a lot of parks, a lot of, fun festivals, street festivals, all these markets. That was awesome, especially during the summer, to have all of that going on.
Chicago, you just got an ad from Kayla right there.
Right.
You just use that. You don't
Move
do
to
anything
Chicago.
else.
I've had several friends come up, and they love it. They want to move here now.
Well, that's awesome.
They came up during the summer, though. So
Well, the winter's a little bit different, but the food is the same.
food's the same.
If you want to bundle up, you can go on the lakefront. It's beautiful, but it's a little cold.
Right.
It's just a little cold, but you still have everything here. But yes, the winter temperatures can be discouraging. So, Kayla, let's go back to the law now.
Okay.
When you started, what was it like those maybe first couple of months of being a lawyer?
Ooh, first couple of months, it was confusing. It was a lot of information, but luckily I had some really good attorneys here help me out, help me learn, really interested in learning as well. I was fortunate enough in law school to have a clerkship where I thought, it could not be better than this mentorship-wise. I was like, okay, this is definitely my number one is a mentorship, especially in workers' comp, which is something I hadn't done before. I'd done personal injury, but, and there's some similarities, but it's very different. It's different state to state as well, of course. And I was just really blown away by the mentorship. Everyone was so helpful, so nice, answered all of my questions that I probably asked a dozen times over and over again. So really it was helpful. It was a good transition. But at first you're excited, you're confused, but you're still overall you're excited to really get in. For me, I'd taken the bar in August. Don't find out you pass until October. So then you're just kind of waiting around. And so I was really excited to get to work, really excited, to start somewhere, start my legal career. It just seems like when you go to school and you take the bar, you study for so long, and then you wait for your results to come out. It just seems like such a long time. You're just waiting and waiting, and then you're finally there. So.
What was your first meeting like with Howard Ankin?
My first meeting with Howard Ankin. It was good. Howard is very inspirational. He's very inspirational. Everyone can tell you that. He also gets you excited. I mean, I think probably my first meeting was the interview. He really makes you feel like you can do it, for sure. Last time I met with Howard was probably last week, and still, he gives you tips, he gives you advice, while still, complimenting you, letting you know, you're doing a good job. He definitely points out the positives. As well as things you can work on, which is what every boss should do, of course. And he makes you feel like, okay, you belong here, you can do it. Keep going, trucking along. So yeah.
That's Howard.
That is Howard.
Same experience here.
Yep.
Kayla, the first time in court. This is something I'm fascinated about. Somebody who didn't grow up in law. What was it like the first time in court?
So we do in Work we do a lot of WebEx. So Zoom-like court. That was nerve-wracking. It was very nerve-wracking, even online. I'll talk about like in person, but even online it was nerve-wracking. You got to practice your spiel. You got to, what are you going to say first? What are you going to say last? How are you going to wrap it up? Make your little argument. I definitely ran through my little argument with Josh Rodolfi beforehand. He helped me out. First time in person, similar as well. It's very nerve-wracking. Even though, at this point, I've done 100 pre-trials over Zoom, but sometimes it's it's a little bit better, but every now and then you'll get the nerves again, especially when it's something big coming up that you haven't done before, some new issue that you haven't done. So I guess overall nerve-wracking, but rewarding, especially when the judge agrees with you.
That's good.
Yep.
Were the judges nice at least on the first time?
They are nice. Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah, would not have known that. Kayla, how do you prevent, because this is obviously a high stress job, how do you try to calm down and just relax, even on a daily, even when you're in the office? How do you deal with that stress all the time? Because that's something that I know people have asked about, I've wondered about, how, especially in a young lawyer like you trying to learn as you go along. How do you de-stress?
De-stress, I will say, so during work, probably taking a walk. Make use of your lunch break. If even if you bring your lunch, maybe just take a walk. Cool down, clear your head, but definitely make use of your lunch time, even if it's just, you don't have to be a whole hour. I mean, you could take 30 minutes and just eat your lunch, not look at your email for a second, maybe look on social media for a second, like really just get away from the computer, have a little break to yourself. That's good. At home, I like to, try not to think about work, which is hard to do, but, kind of lock into something, a TV show, a movie. I'm a big movie person, so try to lock into something, before bed and calm down. I like a sleepy time tea, just little stuff like that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Any movies you watch in particular that get you?
Recently I've been on the Jurassic Parks and the Jurassic Worlds.
Wow.
Yep.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That was a stressful situation for them.
For them, not me. I enjoy it.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Right.
No,
I like dinosaurs. So that's actually my go-to right now. I've been rewatching Law and Order SVU. You don't
obviously
think you can't get enough law, but you can.
You can't. Mariska Hargitay forever.
Mariska Hargitay forever. Yep.
Kayla, we now go into the random question part of this. Favorite Chicago food?
Ooh, pizza. Not deep dish.
Not deep dish.
Yeah, I like a place called Rinaldi's. They have a good hot honey with ricotta pizza. That one's really good. I also like a good hot dog.
Everything on it, Chicago style?
No. Honestly, no.
You're not alone.
I know, maybe mustard and sauerkraut.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
But sometimes, if I'm on a Cubs game, I just want ketchup.
Yeah,
which
there's
is,
nothing.
Which is a sin here, apparently.
Well, it is to many, but here at Ankin Law, we appreciate all ways in which people dress their food, eat their food. Some people I just do onions at baseball games because I think they're very good.
I do add onion.
Onions are very good at Guaranteed Rate Field. Here's another question I have for you. As you can see here, Stickman. Stickman is our inspiration every single day. If Stickman were to come to life and you could take him anywhere in Chicago, where would you take Stickman?
Oh my gosh. Maybe I'd take him to Navy Pier and ride what's that called?
The Ferris wheel.
Yes, the Ferris wheel.
The Ferris wheel. I think he'd enjoy that.
I think he would too.
Yeah, as long as he didn't fall off the Ferris wheel.
Right, I'd keep him safe.
As you can see from the commercials, often peril finds him. So.
Right. Oh, well, Ankin Law has his back.
It does. We do.
Right.
We'll always represent him. In fact, if he got hurt at work, he'd call you.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would do an absolutely wonderful job. Kayla, those are our two random questions, but I want to get back because also talking about this, we hope that there's some people who are looking to get into law. We'll do this. Kayla, you're a young lawyer. What's your advice to lawyers that are or just law students, people thinking about the law? What should they be thinking about when considering this career?
I would say, do you mean while they're still in law school?
I would say while they're still in law school.
Okay, in law school, this is something I tried to do. I tried because I didn't really know what I wanted to do at first. Of course, help people, but there's many, many ways you could do that. When you have your electives, take electives that in different areas of law that you're interested in. I know I took a veterans legal aid clinic. I took immigration law 101, essentially. Get a little taste of everything. Definitely dive into some clerkships. They are very hands-on and they teach you how to speak to people. They teach you how to problem solve like you don't do in law school. They teach hands-on stuff. That's great. With those clerkship kind of going along there, definitely try to find a firm or an agency, wherever, that treats you right, that appreciates you. If you're a hard worker, you know that. And also try to find a place, like I did and like I have now, that, are agreeable to mentoring you, are interested in teaching you, because being left to the wolves, you might learn your own, just as well, but, it's much better to have someone behind you, helping you, teaching you, because that's the number one thing in being a lawyer, I think.
Excellent. Kayla, any other advice or anything else you'd like someone to know about what Ankin Law is all about?
What Ankin Law is all about. Everyone here is very nice. I have a lot of friends here. We have fun, but we also work. Everyone's also a really hard worker. You have your times where you want to giggle, but, you also have your times where you got to, buckle down, get your job done. But, everyone's really nice. We get along. We do stuff outside of work. We have our parties. We have our 5K, happy hours, stuff like that. We know when to party, know when to have fun, but then also know when to work. Did you like the 5K? I liked walking the 5K, Larry.
That is good. That is good. I love.
Larry ran the 5K.
I did run the 5K. I like running, so that's something I do. So I liked it.
Next year I'm going to run it, and I'm going to beat you.
We'll see. I don't know. Maybe. You never know. If Kayla can do all the stuff she does, I do not doubt her, and nobody
Thank
should.
you, Larry.
I don't think anybody would. Kayla and I, of course, started on the same day here at Ankin Law, so it's been an honor to have her on here for the Getting Personal podcast. Kayla, thank you so much for your time.
You are welcome. Happy to be here.